Okay. Yes. Here we are. All right. Yay. We are connected on all platforms. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Clubhouse. Uh, we're gonna get started at 8:05. Just want to give y'all a few minutes to, hey Kels Butter, a few minutes to come on into the room and get settled. Grab a drink, grab a snack, grab something to record some notes because we're gonna learn some things tonight. If you're new here and don't know exactly what's going on, don't worry. I will give you the full breakdown at 8:05, the official start time of the show. But this is a time, if you know what this show is about and you know anybody who's interested in, celebrity news or who's interested in being a business owner and needs to learn some concepts, invite them on into the broadcast, whether that be on Clubhouse, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. Everybody's welcome, okay? Ooh, I'm a little hot. I had a margarita earlier. I'm still finishing it in my special glass. Yes, but we're going to get started at 8:05. If you guys have been following my social media, you know that this month we are starting on nonprofit organizations because we are in the fourth quarter and this is the time when you're going to be getting a lot of requests for donations, or you might even want to start an initiative, to help, bring social change to your community. So it's important that you know the basics of establishing a nonprofit organization. But yeah, we're going to talk about that at the beginning. Let's see who we got here on Clubhouse. We got Veta, Nick, Destiny, Tia, Nikitra, Donna, Jess, Keyshawn, Unique, Kim, Ashaya, Mashala, Jamarian, and Randall. Hello, everybody. Can't wait to talk to you guys. Hey, Ebony. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, we're getting started at 8:05. Again, take this time to, make yourself comfortable. Tonight we have stories about float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, Muhammad Ali and his daughter. Um, if any of you happen to go to Afrochella in Ghana a few years ago, I have a story for you. Or if you've ever attended Coachella, um, Rick Ross is out here trying to put smackdown on some people, hey 38 Records, who think, that they the boss. Um, Lizzo is on a roll with her flute and little tidbits here and there. So, if any of those stories interest you, stick around. As well, we're going to have our NPL nugget. We're going to talk about what that is at the beginning. But yeah. While you do that, if you happen to be new to this broadcast and you're new to me, I encourage you to check out my bio link because you're going to find a link, linktr.ee/NPL consulting firm. I have a lot of freebies on there. I'm going to go over that at 8:05, but just in case we have some new people. Yes. Can't wait to get started. All right, we're getting started in less than a minute, guys, okay? Less than a minute. Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to go light me a bonfire after this show. It's nice. It's like the perfect weather for a bonfire. Mm, mm, mm. All right, so 8:05. We've got our stories ready. Got my NPL nugget. So I think we're ready to go just as soon as the clock changes. Chill out, guys. Hang out. Be comfortable. And now we can start, okay? Welcome, 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 everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If this is your first time hearing my voice or seeing my face, depending on what platform you are joining us through, and you're like, who's this lady? I'm Natalie Pierre Lewis. I am the host of the show and I'm the owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC, a business formation firm. What that means is I help people like yourself get your business paperwork together. So things like making sure you have your articles of incorporation with the state, getting your EIN numbers and DUNS numbers together, making sure you have contracts for clients and partners, brand protection strategies, meaning protecting your trademarks and your copyrights and your patents, and hiring and training strategies so you don't get sued for discrimination. Okay, I help you do all of this and much more. If you're wondering why I'm qualified, I'm very happy that you asked. I am a licensed attorney. I have been one for 16 years and counting. I've started multiple businesses for myself and others, both online and offline. I've had many careers in the realms of entrepreneurship, the law, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I'm very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everyone as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, but a lot of you have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to be successful, there are just some things that you need to know. There's no way around it, okay? So that's why I'm here. So, so if you're in a space where, you're starting a new business and you need some guidance, that's what I'm here for. I want you to reach out to me. Go to linktr.ee/NPL consulting firm. There you can book yourself a free 15-minute consultation if you are a first-time client. Linktree/NPL consulting firm is also where you can download my free biz launch cheat sheet, which is a checklist that helps you start your dream business in 7 days or less. Okay. Linktree/NPL consulting firm is also where you can subscribe to my other platforms. All the platforms that I have out there. I'm on pretty much everything except TikTok. You'll never get me on there. Not a chance. Um, and last but not least, Linktree/NPL consulting firm is also where you can access my digital products. I do a lot of ebooks and video trainings on different aspects of business formation. So you can pick that up at Linktree/NPL consulting firm. So this month we're focusing on nonprofits, right? And that leads me into my my NPL nugget. What is an NPL nugget? An NPL nugget is a short lesson that I give you guys at the top of the show. And today we're going to talk about the basics of nonprofits. But if you don't want to wait for the NPL nugget and you just want the whole shebang, go to Linktree/NPL consulting firm and you can pick up the ebook for just $9.97. Okay. But now that I've shilled my wares, let's get to the reason why we're here. This is how the show works. So over the course of a week, I pull stories from the news, stories from blogs, stories that you guys send to me, anything that I find that has a lesson that we can learn as business owners, and we bring it here and we discuss, the facts and pull out those lessons that we need to learn. Okay. So this is a time for you to get involved. This is a time for you to ask questions and give comments as long as they are respectful. Please no cussing, because I'm not going to explain to my mama why people are on the internet cussing. Okay. She is saved and sanctified. All right. Yes. So that is how the show works. But before we even get into that, I want to again go back to our NPL nugget. So like I said, we're doing nonprofits this month, right? And a lot of people, when they think of nonprofits, they think about 501c3s. But I want you guys to know that there are nonprofit organizations that are not just 501c3s. There's actually a lot. You have 501c4s, which are social advocacy groups like the Human Rights Campaign, or something that helps with social change. You have professional organizations; those are run by 501c C6, and they help with the development of professionals. So if you think about the American Medical Association, they manage all the doctors, right? C8, which manages fraternal organizations. So if we have anybody listening who is a Freemason, or a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, you would be under a fraternal organization as a nonprofit organization. Okay, so understand that nonprofit organizations, they are not just 501c3s. We have 501c4s, 6s, and 8s, right? Yes, so make sure that you know what type of nonprofit organization you are starting by picking up the Nonprofit Entities ebook at linktree/NPL Consulting Firm. Okay? All right, so that's now we can get started on our stories. Our very first one is a cautionary tale for all my friends out here. Okay? Now, if any of you have ever logged into the USPTO website, if any of you have ever gone to USPTO.gov and logged in and created an account, give me a computer emoji. You too, Clubhouse, just give me a computer emoji in the chat. But if you have ever logged into and created an account on the USPTO website at USPTO.gov, give me a computer emoji. Okay, now when you create an account on the USPTO website, like any other website, there are a bunch of disclaimers and terms and conditions that you have to agree to before they let you use the site, right? And and oftentimes we just agree to those terms and conditions. We don't really read them, right? Well, it's really important to read it, especially when, it affects your use of a particular platform. So when you create an account on USPTO.gov, they specifically tell you that you are not supposed to be sharing your logins with, foreign entities and people who are not affiliated with the U.S. What is it, trademark system. You can't just let anybody use. You know how we all let everybody use our streaming passwords. Like just today, I just picked up my friend's Peacock password. Right? You can't do that with the USPTO.gov. And let me tell you what can happen if you do. So there are these two attorneys. Their names are Julian Hafner. Kels Butter said nope because they are scammers. They go by the name of Julian Hafner and Grace Lee Wong. Okay, now both of these guys, they are high level attorneys at their respective law firms, very big law firms. So they are higher ups. They have recently had Purple Butterfly Studio. They've recently had their accounts with the USPTO suspended, and they have officially been censured. Like there is a document that you can find online with their names on it saying that they are not allowed to use the USPTO.gov website. Why? Because they were allowing foreign entities, foreign companies who are not aligned with the US trademark system to use their logins for the USPTO trademark system. So much so, like they had a company in India that they were letting use their logins, and the company in India was advertising themselves in India as a company that could get you a US trademark for as little as 10 American dollars. Okay, now so because of this, Julian Hafner and Grace Lee Wong have lost access to the USPTO.gov website. Now, Julian, one of them is specifically an intellectual property attorney. Now, how hard do you think your job is going to be if you are an intellectual property attorney and you can't even use the USPTO website, right? Kels Butter said, again, scammers and hackers. Right, scammers and hackers, but they had some help, right? These are partners in law firms. They are higher ups, and they're allowing these foreign entities to, use their login so they can make a buck overseas in a way that is not permissible. So even though these people, they're higher ups, and they probably knew better, they've lost access to the USPTO website. Now, I don't know if this is going to cost them their jobs. so actually, I want to bring that question to you guys. Do you think that these attorneys should lose their positions at their law firms? They've already lost access to the USPTO website. Do you think that they should lose their jobs as well for basically violating US law? Or do you think that their jobs are just going to pat them on the back and be like, you took one for the team? What do you think is going to happen? Or what do you think should happen? Let me know. Um, for me, I really doubt that they're going to lose their jobs. Um, unless the company can prove that, unless they weren't cutting the company in or their law firm in on the money. If the law firm was profiting from it, I'm sure they're going to keep their jobs. Um, but we'll see. Okay. Good luck to them. Moving on. So who can tell me who is the famous boxer whose his catchphrase was float like a butterfly, sting like a bee? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Whose catchphrase was that? A famous boxer. Please put the name in the chat box, okay? Ooh, I'm hot, y'all. This margarita's getting to me. Whose phrase in the ring was float like a butterfly? So thank you, Jamari. And yes, Muhammad Ali, right? And Muhammad Ali, he's known and beloved. He passed away a few years ago, but he's still celebrated. And Muhammad Ali's daughter, Layla, has followed in his footsteps, right? She is a boxer in her own right. She's won titles. And like anybody else, she want to make money on her name, right? So Layla Ali has been trying to register her name for trademarking so she can, create merch and do things like that. Like any other person who makes money off their name wants to do. Unfortunately, the company that manages her father's intellectual property has filed a notice of opposition to her application because they're saying that they would be confused with Muhammad Ali's trademark. So they're basically saying, hey, Brandon. So they're basically saying, Layla, look, we like you, girl, but you trademarking your name Layla Ali, that's too close to Muhammad Ali, and we can't let that happen, right? Now, this is not the first time this has happened. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago where Shaquille O'Neal's son has been trying to trademark his name, and the company that manages his father's intellectual property has blocked him as well. Now, I'm sure they're going to be able to fix this on the back end, but what I want you to understand through these things is that this is it doesn't matter how close you are to a person, right? If you have a trademark, if they it doesn't matter if they're your parents or your child or someone very close to you. um if they have attorneys who are protecting their intellectual property, and you're trying to file a trademark that is close to that, they're going to oppose you. Right. It also happened to Justin Bieber's wife. She tried to file for Bieber Beauty, and her husband's attorneys were like, girl, no, your husband's name is Bieber, not yours. So be careful out there. For those of you, if your name is dangerously close to another famous person's, you may want to do some finagling about that, because you can get a notice of opposition. Okay. um okay. One more story before we go on a quick break. Is anybody here into like heavy metal rock music? um I mean, usually that's not my audience, but let me know if anybody's here, because this is specifically this is about a rock band that or used to go by the name of Murder Dolls. Anybody ever heard of Murder Dolls? The doll. Um, Old ones. Okay. Um, no. Okay, that's cool. Well, all right. So here's a quick story. All right. So once upon a time, there was a heavy metal band by the name of Murder Dolls. They had like 6 members. Okay, like most groups, over time something happened, they broke up, right? People were out doing their own thing. One of them is currently in the music scene going by the name Wednesday 13, right? And this guy, he's the founding vocalist. um uh the former guitarist of Murder Dolls, as well as a couple of other people who were originally in the band, they were trying to, or are trying to, celebrate the 20th anniversary of this band's first album, by selling merch. Right? They started a website called Murder Dolls Official, where you can get your Murder Dolls merchandise. They and they're out, on the town touring for the Murder Dolls name. Now, go back to Wednesday 13, the founding vocalist of the group. He is not affiliated with these other guys. Remember, the band broke up. This the founding vocalist, he is performing under a different name. He is slamming and trying to go after these other members of the group because he's saying that they don't have a right to use the Murder Dolls name because the band has basically broken up. The band was originally like 5, 6 people. It's only 2 of y'all. How y'all selling Murder Dolls merch and it ain't the whole Murder Dolls, right? That's basically his argument. But the people who the former guitarist who is trying to sell the merch, he's like, look, I went through the paces. I went to Warner Music Group and I got the rights back for the Murder Dolls stuff. You could actually come in on here and get in on this money, right? So the guitarist is like, look, I'm doing this for all of us. If you want to get a piece of this pie, ain't no problem. Come on over here. But Wednesday 13 is like, nah, y'all ain't gang no more. The family broke up, so you shouldn't be trying to make money off of it. So let me know, who do you think is in the right here? Who do you think is in the right here? Is it Wednesday 13, the guy who was like, you guys shouldn't be making money off the Murder Dolls name? Or is it the gentleman who claimed to have, won the rights back from Warner Music Group? Who do you think should be allowed, or who do you think is right in this situation? Hmm. For me, I feel like, look, you feel like the solo dude is right? Here's the thing for me. If these guys went through the trouble of getting the rights back from Warner Music Group and they're like, come get a piece of this pie, I'm always going to bet on putting some money in my pocket. Yes, I do have scruples and, principles and things like that. But this is like, if people want to buy t-shirts and put some money in my pocket, I don't see what's the problem. And I don't understand why Wednesday 13 is so opposed to this. Now, again, it's not like they're saying you can't, sit with us. They've actually invited him to get in on this. He's just saying no. That Brandon guy said the old group hasn't been using it. Yeah, they haven't, because they didn't have the rights to it. They had sold it to Warner Music Group, but the other guys won it. They bought it back or won it back, however they did it. So you think Wednesday 13 is in the right here? That Brandon guy? Brandon, Fred. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I feel like this Wednesday 13 guy, while I understand where he's coming from, I feel like he's doing a little too much. It's like, listen, if you got a chance to put some extra Skrilla in your pocket, do it. But that's just me. As long as you can look at yourself in the morning, okay? All right. Before we move on to our next stories, I want to remind you guys that you are watching or listening to NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you are in the startup phase of your business and you need some legal guidance, I'm a licensed attorney with a passion for helping entrepreneurs. Book yourself a free 15-minute consultation today using linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm, linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm, linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. Okay, you had it backwards, Brandon. Okay. All right, moving on. If you have ever heard, actually, no. A few years ago, prior to the pandemic, did anybody who was watching or listening, whether you're watching in real time, watching or listening in real time, or you're, doing the replay, did any of you have a chance to go to Afrochella, or did you hear about Afrochella? It was in 2019, and I want to say it was like the a celebration of 400 years after the slave trade or something, and it was being held in Ghana, and they were really encouraging all people of the African diaspora to return to Ghana to celebrate it. So Brandon Guy, you heard of Afrochella? Okay. Anybody else heard of Afrochella? Even if you didn't go, I know of a couple people who went, and they said it was absolutely beautiful. Okay. All right. Yes, Year of the Return. That's exactly what it was. Okay, well, Afrochella, it was a resounding success in Ghana. They had so many people, come back to the motherland, and so many people for the first time, you know. Why people want to text me when I'm working? Um, uh, Hold on, lost my train of thought. Yes, okay. So Afrochella was a success, and they were like, hey, we want to make this a thing. So the organizers in Ghana tried to register a trademark for Afrochella in Ghana and for Chella. And Coachella, the festival that happens in, I believe, Nevada, somewhere in the desert. The Coachella people are basically have basically opposed the application for Afrochella, because they are saying that they are basically trying to profit off of the history and fame of the Coachella Festival. And the first thing I thought in my mind was, that is rich, okay? For y'all, look, I love everybody, okay? I do love everybody. But for you, an organization that is surely founded by, a bunch of people of European descent, to say that an organization of African descent is stealing from y'all. All right. Now, legally, yes, they're in the right, but, blackly and morally, I feel like, they in the wrong. But Coachella has opposed this application by the people who for Afrochella. Do you think, why are y'all doing this to me now? Facebook should still be able to hear me. So do you think Coachella should sit this out, or do they have, a right to fight for this, fight against this Afrochella name? Now, to be fair, the people who did Afrochella, they also tried to trademark Chella. But what do you think is fair here? What do you think is right here? While Coachella has a legal right, they do have a legal right to oppose this application. But let's just talk about this on a moral, on a social level, on a historical level, right? Because the law, while we try to say that the law is, free from bias and things like that, it's not true. You have to take context, into consideration. So do we think that Coachella should, just kind of sit this one out, or should they be like, no, girl, this is our name. We work for it. What do you think? I'm very conflicted about this one, so I really want to hear your opinions about it. Let me know what you think. What y'all think? Can Coachella and Afrochella coexist? That Brandon guy said, it's like the Lollapalooza peeps. They're trying to prevent peeps from using Palooza. And I totally get that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Coachella doesn't have a legal right. They absolutely have a legal right to oppose this, right? Because they have built a brand. But at sometimes in intellectual property, you have to take social issues into consideration. And for me, being a person of, African diaspora descent, for an organization of, surely started by people of European descent who are descendants of people who probably stole my people or bought them at one point, I feel like y'all should sit this out. But that's just me. I'm not the law. You can have an opinion, but you still have to follow the law, right? Okay, so Brandon Guy said legally yes, but they're doing too much. All right, well, we'll see what happens, okay? Okay, next story. Brandon, are you a Rick Ross fan? Jamarian, are you a Rick Ross fan? Y'all are keeping me up tonight because everybody kind of quiet. But if you are a Rick Ross fan, put MMG in the comment box. Jamarian said he ate. Oh, he eyed. Okay, he eyed. Okay. That's cool. He ain't everybody's cup of tea, and that's all right. I'm not gonna say that Rick Ross is my favorite rapper, but he does have tunes that I like. And I feel like his music is really motivational. You say he's funny. Rick Ross is funny, but Rick Ross don't play about his money, okay? Rick Ross is about making money. Y'all know he has Wingstop. He's opening up a car museum. He's started his own line of hemp cigarettes. Rick Ross is all about making money, right? And so much so, what is Rick Ross's nickname for himself? What does Rick Ross call himself? What does Rick Ross call himself? What does Rick Ross call himself? Tell me what Rick Ross calls himself. That's your clue. Yes! Thank you, Jamarian. The boss. Rick Ross calls himself the boss. And not just the boss, the biggest boss, right? So Rick Ross, as someone who calls himself the boss, oh, Bruce Springsteen coming after him. Well, let's look at these facts here. Bruce Springsteen has a nickname called the boss, but I don't think Bruce Springsteen has ever trademarked that, right? But Rick Ross, in the excuse me, in making himself the boss or growing to be a boss, he started his own conference called the Boss Up Conference. It actually happened in September of this year. And it's like empowerment, all this stuff. Now, on the other end, there is a woman. She calls herself the six-figure boss or something like that. Anyway, her name's Tiffany McIntosh, right? And she's having her own conference called I'm the Biggest Boss Conference. And for this conference, she has obtained performers like Master P, Romeo, actresses like Vivica Fox, people who are prominent within the Black celebrity space, right? This conference is supposed to be taking place October 13 to 16 in Houston. So if anybody here is in that area and maybe wants to attend, try it out. But Tiffany McIntosh, in promoting this I'm the Biggest Boss conference, she has come across the radar of one Mr. Rick Ross. And Rick Ross is suing her for trademark infringement for her I'm the Biggest Boss conference. Not only that, Tiffany McIntosh is using Rick Ross's music to promote this this conference, and Rick Ross is like, lady, I don't know you. You ain't the boss. I'm the boss. Okay, I've got the Boss Up conference. So Rick Ross wants Tiffany McIntosh to stop. He wants her to rename her conference, and he wants her to stop using his music to promote it, right? Do you think that Rick Ross is in the right, or is Rick Ross doing too much? What's happening? Let me know. Do you think Rick Ross should be going after Tiffany McIntosh? Or is Rick Ross doing too much? Now, keep in mind, when you have political campaigns that are happening, right? When politicians use certain songs, artists, if they don't like the politician, they will communicate with their team and say, hey, stop using my song. I don't like you. You don't get to use my song on your campaign. That Brandon guy said she definitely needs to stop using the music. Okay. I can see that, yeah, because Rick Ross is, he's not sponsoring it. But what about this I'm the Biggest Boss conference? Is that name too much? Is it too much? Like, I'm the Biggest Boss plus you using the Rick Ross songs. Is there a possibility that somebody would confuse would confuse the conferences, or think that this conference might be affiliated with Rick Ross? Is there a possibility of that? Even considering these names that she's been able to get for the conference. Now, they might not be the biggest. Master P, he might not be on the charts, but he's still a name that rings some bells. Romeo, Vivica, they still out here working, right? That Brandon guy said no unless it's trademarked. Well, we will wait and see what happens. I feel like Rick Ross is enough of a boss that he's gotten this stuff trademarked and he's got lawyers and stuff. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on what happens with this. Okay. All right. Before we go on our next break, we got one more story. Okay, guys. So how many of y'all saw any of the reports, the blog sites showing Lizzo when she was playing was it James Madison's flute? If you saw any of the reports of Lizzo playing the president's glass or crystal flute, give me a flute emoji, okay? While you do that, if you did not know, of course, Lizzo, she is known for being a flute player. She was in band. She plays her flute during her shows. But you may not know that her flute has a name, okay? Lizzo calls her flute Sasha Flute, okay? And Sasha Flute has her own Instagram. It has its own Twitter. And now it's got its own trademark. Lizzo has trademarked the name Sasha Flute for TV, clothing, books, NFTs, and the metaverse. She is cashing in on this, renewed interest in her instrument, and she is going to, so she is trademarking the name of her flute. So for those of you who are Lizzo fans, or if you're a flute fan, you're going to be seeing some merch out there that you might want to pick up. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the wood. Was it brass? Yes. Thank you for the brass instruments. Okay. But yeah, so Lizzo, she's out here making her cake and, flying above all the haters. Good for her. All right. All right. Quick break before we do our last two stories. For those of you who may have just come in, I want to thank you for attending. This is NPL Legal Dish, my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you are in the startup phase of your business and you are looking for some guidance, go to linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. There you can book a free 15-minute consultation if you're a first-time client, and you can download my free biz launch cheat sheet that will help you choose and start your dream business in 7 days or less. Okay. Now, moving on to our final two stories, and these are going to be really quick. So, how many of y'all use Google? Actually, no, I'm not even going to say that. About how many times a day would you say that you use Google? How many times do you go to the Google browser and type in, whatever it is that you need to find? How many times a day do you think you go to Google? I would say at least 50, at least. And I don't even think that's not even being generous. Like, Google is my life. About how many times a day do you think you use a Google browser? many times, Brennan. And you're like into tech, so you're probably on your browser just probably stays open. Jamarian said 20 to 30. Okay. Kelly said about 25. Okay. Okay. Well, why do we all love Google? Because Google gives us a lot of results, right? Brandon said 50 to 100. Like, we can go to Google and look up anything and we will get pages and pages of results, right? But we want to make sure that those results are um accurate, right? Or that they are supposed to be there. And Google, as one of the primary browsers that a lot of people use, they have actually made it a big part of their corporate culture to make sure that they try to, keep the reins on pirated links. So a report recently came out that Google has removed about 6 billion, with a B, y'all, 6 billion pirated links from their system. So, those of you who might be looking for, I don't know, somewhere to you maybe stream movies or illegally, or not that y'all would do that, because I know that y'all are all upstanding citizens who, purchase all your things legally. But all, things like Pirate Bay, whatever. Google is actively, on the hunt to remove these things. Whereas, you have companies like Apple have been sued for not doing enough, especially the cable companies. But Google has been specifically commended for really trying to cut down on the amount of pirated links. So, we want to give them a thumbs up for that, for protecting people's intellectual property. Oh, I see that angel emoji, Brandon. Mr. Techie. You probably on the dark web right now. All right. Okay, and our last story of the evening. So this is just a follow-up story. If you have been listening for the last couple of months, you know that we've talked about this story where Molson Coors, the company that makes Coors Light and all those domestic beers, they recently lost a case. They had changed the packaging of their Keystone beers, right? And it was where they made the word Stone bigger, and it was basically infringing on the trademark of a smaller beer company called Stone Brewing. And Stone Brewing sued Molson Coors for trademark infringement, and they lost. And Molson Coors was fined $56 million for trademark infringement, y'all. $56 million. So of course, Molson Coors is appealing this $56 million. They're like, yeah, Judge, maybe we did it, but this is kind of excessive. So Molson Coors is appealing this amount that was awarded to Stone Brewing. So I want to know from you guys, do you think that Molson Coors should just pay it and shut up? Or, do they have the right to appeal? But do you think that $56 million is a fair amount, or is it exorbitant? Is it too much? Should the judge maybe reconsider the amount that Molson Coors has to pay to Stone Brewing? Because I don't know how many of the beers that they sold. I don't know how much of the beer that they sold. Whew. Now, this $56 million might also might include treble damages. If you don't know what treble damages are, sometimes if somebody violates a trademark and the person whose trademark was violated can show that, hey, we told this person what they were doing was wrong and they did it anyway, the court can give you treble damages, which is 3 times the amount of damages that you're asking for. So if you're asking for 1 million, if you get treble damages, you might get 3, right? That Brandon guy said it depends on how much they profited. It does depend. We would need to see that. But I think that Molson Coors, look, I know y'all got it. Y'all got it, okay? But anyway, of course, I wouldn't want to part with $56 million myself, so I don't blame them for appealing. But anyway, those were the stories that I wanted to share with you tonight. If you missed any of the NPL nugget at the beginning or any of the beginning, just you can watch the replay on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, all of that. Make sure you pick up the Nonprofit Entities ebook. Guys, it's that time of year. People are going to be wanting donations. You want to make sure that you're donating to, a legit organization. So you'll want to pick up the Nonprofit Entities ebook so you know the questions to ask. Also, make sure that you book your free 15-minute consultations if you're a first-time client. Make sure you download the Biz Launch cheat sheet that will help you choose and start your dream business in 7 days or less. All of these are available at linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm, linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm, linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, we have a few minutes left. You can put them in the comment box. Or if you don't feel like asking, on live, you can DM them to me and I will respond. I will be back next week with more stories. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, please send it my way. I love it when you guys send me stories because it makes my work less hard. Okay. So this is where I shall leave you. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you next time. Bye. All right. And